Hey guys, what's up? Sora here, back with another Shadowverse video. And today we're actually going to be doing something a little bit different. We're going to be taking a look at the Shadowverse mini expansion cards after the fact. With the gift of retrospect, I'm going to let you know what now my thoughts are, having either played with these cards or against these cards in ranked, and letting you know my opinion of whether you should vial for them right now or not. Now, one important thing I'm going to mention at the top of this is I'm not going to count cards mostly. I'm not going to count the effects of cards from Tempest of the Gods mostly, because they're about to rotate out. In about less than 30 days, Tempest of the Gods will no longer be a factor. This way, what I'm recommending is something that I'm not only saying is good right now, but also I think I will be good in the meta that is about to follow. Now, the meta might vastly change after the drop of this new expansion, right? That's as much to be expected. But what I'm going to recommend here are archetypes or cards that support archetypes I don't think will ever go away. Even if they go down from tier 1 to tier 2 or something like that, at the very least, I know that they'll be around for consideration for kicking, because they are just really that good innately. But with all that preamble away, let's get started. So first, we have Green Glen Axeman, the Rush legendary follower from Forest. And I'm going to be going through this relatively quickly just because we've already covered these cards. I do think the leader effect is quite good. This card is going to be replacing, what's her name? The Gold Tempest of the God card, Crystalia Aaron, because he falls into that same slot or around that similar slot, and also fulfills the control aspect of Forest. So for me personally here, I would, if you're looking to play Control Forest no matter what, Green Glen Axeman is a relatively safe bet to craft. But if you're not sure whether you like Forest as a craft, or it's not particularly your highest one, I would hold off. Now, this is coming from, I actually like this card a lot, but being a little bit conservative on vials, especially with the drop of a new expansion, you're going to need every vial you can get. I don't see this being a must-have. It's a nice to have, but definitely not a must-have. Storied Falconer. To drop 1/3, put a Skystride Falcon into your hand, or Raptor I should say. This is also going to fall on the same camp as Green Glen Axeman, because I'm not sure whether, if you really like Aggro Forest, I don't think you can go wrong with this card. So let me get that out of the way. If you want to play Aggro Forest now or in the future, definitely get this card. But for every other player that's kind of more on the fence, or just like, okay, I can play Aggro Forest, but I don't particularly like Aggro Forest. Aggro Forest doesn't need this card right now. I think it can perform just fine without it, being totally honest with you. It's a good include, but not a must include. So even with the cards that we have right now, I don't think the Storied Falconer is that necessary. I think it's perfectly fine with the cards that it has right now, and it stands to lose a lot of cards in the rotation of Tempest as well. So I would say that this is not recommended to vial if you're being conservative, but if you're going to play Aggro Force no matter what, then go ahead and get this card. Spartacus, Transformer Victory card. Right now, no. Keeping it simple, Spartacus is really hard to pull off with just Chronos right now. A part of me is regretting actually crafting Spartacus, but I also do not regret it because I do want to play with him at some point. I know that for a fact, because he opens up an entirely new style for Sword, but right now, right this second, he's not worth it simply because there's not enough cards to support it. Chronos is not enough. So Right now, no. Maybe in the next expansion, maybe he might be worth it, but right now, definitely not. Dario Demon Count, so has the Cupid ability and cannot be destroyed by spells and effects. Right now, he really fits in kind of mid-range. He doesn't have the necessary power or toughness to really be either an aggro or Arcus. So no, I don't think so. He's not that necessary, although he can mess stuff up. But even if you're playing mid-Shadow, I would wait until the next expansion drops to really craft him. If you get him in your packs right now, he's perfectly fine, include for mid-Shadow. But if you do not get him in the packs, I would not craft him right now. This is coming from a Shadow main as well. I do not think he provides enough to be that important to any of the 3 archetypes that Shadow currently has running. Truthseeker Faust. This is rough. So he gives the leader following effect at the beginning of the turn. If an allied follower is in play, perform Earthright. There are decks that are relatively successful that are playing with him right now. They're not tier 1 yet because the meta is still developing, but there are decks. Here's my problem with this card right now. There's only 1, maybe 2 good Earthright generators. One of them being the Beast Face Mage. And he isn't that great of a card to begin with. So, with the benefit of hindsight, I don't think that he's currently T1. My prediction over the next few weeks, I don't think he will ever be T1 to the point where like you're really falling behind if you don't craft him. So I would, at the end of the day, I guess I would put him in the same vein as Green Glen Axeman. If you want to play this particular type of Burn Rune, by all means go for it. Burn Rune is not T1 right now, any form of Burn Rune. So he's not a must-have to climb the ladder. He may be in the following few weeks, but that meta is about to change anyway. So in the spirit of being conservative, no, I would not craft Truthseeker Faust if you did not get him in your packs. Burgeant Onion Patchmaster, keeping this simple, she is currently meme status, although a very funny meme status. She might get support later. Her primary problem is that the onions do not have rush, so they have to stay on the board in order for her to take effect. And herself, she doesn't really have any sort of board affecting effects, for the lack of a better term. So no, I would not craft Burgeant Onion Patchmaster. If you do get her, she's, I think I'm seeing some players play her as a one-of in Giant Chimera, just in case you need that extra push. Maybe you didn't draw into Giant Chimera early enough. You need that spell boost very, 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 very late game, then sure. But right now, definitely not worthy of the craft. White Frost Dragonute Feline. Keeping this again simple. If you have played rotation in the past couple of weeks, you know that every version of Dragon is playing this card. If you are playing Dragon, craft this card. That, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. She is that strong. I do not see a meta where she will ever be not useful. It's kind of like Sybil status pretty much here. She's perfect in every form of Dragon deck. She has single-handedly allowed PDK and Lindworm to be in the same deck. That's how good this card is. If you are playing Dragon, please go ahead and craft her. She's really, really, really good. Dragonplate Warrior, maybe. Developing meta right now, even in Unlimited, I'm seeing a little bit of Dragonplate Warrior to provide that extra reach. I would, if you're playing Lindworm, playing Jerva, either one of those cards, and if you really, really want to play them right now, he's a maybe. The good news is it's a gold, so he's relatively easier to get. Maybe wait until the 10 packs, the 10 free packs of Shadowverse, the giveaway, the second year Shadowverse giveaway comes in before you craft. That way you open up all your free resources before attempting to craft him. but he's only really useful in those decks, and even then he's not a must-have. So long story short, I would not craft him for any other reason unless you really want to play him. Arcus Ghostly Manager, keeping it simple. Again, if you've played rotation, he's fantastic. Give your leader the following effect: whenever you play 2 or 3 or less follower, you summon ghosts. Insane burst damage. He can do, with a combination of Babcath, I think can do 11 plus in a single turn. So absolutely craft him if you're interested at all in playing his deck. He's the centerpiece of the deck, so de facto you have to craft him. Now, as far as the general meta is concerned, whether he will be useful in the upcoming meta, I cannot see a meta that doesn't at least allow him to see play. The only thing that's rotating out of Tempest of the Gods from Shadow, gosh, I can't even think. No, Demon Eater's Wonderland Dreams, I believe. Like a 2 or 3 drop that is tantamount to the deck that is rotating out of Shadow, I cannot think of anything. So he only stands to get better from this point, really. The more I think about it. His deck is absolutely absurd in terms of burst damage. If you're interested at all in playing him, go ahead and craft him. Is he future-proof? Relatively speaking, yes. Maybe like a slight lesser than Feline, but he's up there for sure. So if you want to play Shadow, go ahead and craft him. Lord Deathskull, give a random allied follower last word, summon a skeleton. So he's essentially Prince Catacomb 2.0. Prince Catacomb himself is rotating out, so I would definitely consider crafting him if you are in Shadow. So keeping this straightforward, if you're playing Shadow, craft him if you didn't look into him. I think he's a pretty safe craft for Shadow right now. For everything else, hold off. Like, even if you're playing Arcus, right? For Arcus, like, I don't see a point in the meta where he's not useful. Lord Deathskull, I maybe can see a point in the meta where he's not useful. That meta has to be really skewed against him for that to happen, but I can see it. That's my opinion. There might be a better 2-drop, better in slot than Lord Deathskull. That comes out later. It might be even a neutral card even. So I don't think he's a must have. But if you are playing Shadow and you want as many options for Shadow right now and in the future, Lord Deathskull is relatively safe. Waltz, King of Wolves. For him, gosh. So here's the thing. Belphegor's gonna rotate out. With Belphegor rotating out, this becomes, right now, between all 4 expansions that are going to remain in rotation, the most reliable way to get Vengeance on turn 4. By that sense alone, if you're playing Blood, he's probably safe to craft, similar to Lord Deathskull. Now, whether he's going to be still in the same place or in a relatively good place after the meta, maybe not as much. Now, hear me out. He's really strong. So if you're a Blood player or if you're interested in playing Blood, craft him right now. I'm no longer talking with you guys. You're good to go. Craft Waltz. For everyone that is kind of on the fence of playing Blood as a craft, I would wait. Unless you're like itching to play Blood right now in this month, I would wait. Because there might be better stuff coming down the road, or there might be better strategies for Vengeance coming down the road. And Vengeance is one of those strategies that is either really on top of the meta or really at the bottom of the meta. And with that level of volatility, there's a lot of risk involved with hard committing to Waltz. So if you're not looking to play Blood, or you're not sure if you're going to play Blood yet, let the meta develop. Wait for the 3 weeks, honestly, until the expansion comes out, and then craft him. Or at the very least, wait for the 10 free packs of Dawnbreak Night Edge to come in and then craft him. But right now, that's the best advice I can give you. He's definitely on the top of the meta for Blood right now, but for a very specific deck, which is Vengeance. He's not useful in every part of the deck, nor did he create a new type of deck, unlike Arcus. So, like a step below Arcus. So if you're keeping score, Feline must craft no matter what. Even if you're not playing Dragon, craft. Like some point you're going to play Dragon and you're going to play her. Arcus, meta defining shadow card. Absolutely craft him and he's relatively safe as long as you play Shadow in the future. Waltz, you have to be playing Vengeance. So not only Blood but also Vengeance, it's kind of iffy. So long story short, I've already rambled long enough. If you're interested in playing Vengeance Blood, go ahead and get him. If not, stay. Raven Eventide Vampire. Honestly, I think better in slot than Nightmare Devil is. A good repeater for that sort of effect. If you're playing aggro Bat's Blood right now, definitely worthy of the craft. But I would wait if you're not interested in playing that particular archetype right now, because we don't know whether that archetype is going to be effective in the future. Similar to Waltz, but even less so. Tutankhamun, keeping this simple, he has not seen any sort of rotation play as far as I can see. Everyone and their mother is playing White Fang Temple for Haven, so definitely not necessary in any form of deck right now. He may develop over time. He might be one of those cards that needs that, but right now, given that there's only one card that really supports his mechanic right now in rotation, which is Ether of the White Wing, I wouldn't craft him. Even if you're in Haven right now, I wouldn't craft him. White Fang Temple, okay, meta defining card, putting it on the same category as at least Arcus, putting this on the same category as at least Arcus. If you are interested in playing Haven at all, now or in the future, craft this card. Relatively low risk craft, only 2400 vials rather than the full playset of a legendary, so that helps it. Single-handedly allowed for Tenko Shrine to be super competitive. Any interest in playing Tenko Shrine, craft it. Any interest in playing Haven, I would still craft it because life gain is going to be a perpetual part of Haven. So, relatively safe craft. If you're interested in the class in itself, now or in the future, craft it. Electro Magical Rhino, the artifact legendary for Portal. Nice to have, not a need to have, honestly. I'm seeing him as a one-of for Portal for those really grindy games, especially because every time he attacks, he puts 3 of himself, which is an even better anti-decking mechanism for Portal. And also the meme status where I've seen Electrical Magical Rhinos with like 600 attack or something absurd like that. Relatively niche in his use right now. Even in most decks he's only played as a one-of, so long story short, not needed. I wouldn't craft him if you're not even interested in playing Artifact Portal or Portal, and even if you are, I would try the normal version of the Portal Artifact Portal deck first before you even consider playing Electromagical Rhino. So yeah. Heartless Battle, again, keeping it simple, no. As much as I love Puppet, I really do love Puppet. Unless you are a die-hard Puppet fan who is wanting to play Puppets right now, no, I would not craft this card. Now, because Puppet is not even... it's really hard to make viable even with this card in the deck. However, if you are one of those diehards that swears by Orcus, swears by Zwei, and wants to play Puppets right now, Heartless Battle will not hurt you. I think this card is one of those that can stand to be buffed, honestly. But even then, even if it's not buffed, right now, Puppet is so hungry for a mid-game that it will take anything, including this. So if you're playing puppets right now, I guess wait for the 10 packs, then craft this. If you're not playing puppets, do not touch this card. Wait for the next meta before you craft anything related to puppets. Oceanus. Excellent card. Excellent card. I'm seeing her play in a lot of neutral decks. Both Unlimited. Unlimited is actually playing around with her, which says something. And right now in rotation, I think I've seen her the most in, I want to say BNB. So she's an excellent card, but she's not bleeding edge meta. So if you're playing any sort of neutral package, then maybe consider crafting her after the 10 packs. But if you're not playing BNB, if you're not playing any sort of neutral leaning deck, then you can skip her. However, do I see her being good in the future? Absolutely, yes. She's just not essential. So she's kind of in this weird space where in the next meta, in the next expansion, yes, you'll see play. Absolutely. But is she going to be absolutely necessary in those decks? Maybe not. So it's if you really want to play as her, I think she's safe to craft. If you can skip her right now, I would wait until the next expansion. There's your answer for Oceanus. And that's it, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if nothing else, hope you guys found it educational. As sort of a wrap up, I'm not saying to not craft these cards. If you already had your mind in a Spartacus deck, by all means play Spartacus. This is more for the people that are kind of bewildered right now because this is the first time that Side Games is releasing a mini expansion, and it is quote unquote a trap for vials. I don't believe that, but if you are not careful with your vials, you might find yourself being a little bit behind the curve when the next expansion drops in less than 30 days. So and again, the second disclaimer is also this only my opinion. Do not take my word as fact. This is just from my experience from playing Rotation Grandmaster, and I hope this guide has informed you, even if just a little bit, whether you're playing now or getting ready for the exciting things to come in the next expansion. With that being said, thank you guys for watching. This has been Sora. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.